Hello and welcome to episode 3 of Elegant AOV's guide to switching from SC2 to Brood War. I am extremely sorry that this video has taken so long to come up with, but I have been quite busy this week with various other things that will be going on in real life, so I'm sorry for that, but I will try and do them faster in future. I'm sure I'll manage that at some point. So, today, to the schedule, what we're going to be looking at is we are going to be taking a closer look at one of my absolutely most favourite units in the entire game. We're going to be having a look at the Reaver. We're going to lump some other stuff in with that. We're going to chuck in some general thoughts about harassment in Brood War compared to StarCraft 2. And of course it's a lot more prevalent here in the lovely game of Brood War. So first, what I'm going to show you is I am going to show you a game from my personal replay folder which was played yesterday. I can't vouch for its quality, but it does show a few pretty cool little makes a good few points about the game. So we're going to have a look at that, and then we're going to just take a little dip into a Pro League match from recently as well, to have a look at how they use Reavers and their harassment techniques. So first, let me give you a rundown of the Reaver unit. The Reaver is a little caterpillar type thing which you produce out of the robotics facility. It is on the same level of tech as the Colossus, and it performs a very similar function in some ways. It is mind-blowingly slow, so you will almost always see it used in conjunction with a shuttle which of course has the option for a speed upgrade, which is dramatically useful for any harassment purposes. It doesn't fire a normal missile, it fires a missile called a Scarab, which is an AI-controlled little unit of its own. It basically sprints at the enemy unit and explodes, and does quite a large amount of splash damage. However, the problem with this is it's incredibly temperamental, sometimes gets ridiculous stage fright and just decides to bottle the shot and doesn't go off at all. It's way too complicated to go into the rules of when you should fire a Scarab and what you should be aiming at, so I'll let you try that out for yourself. But don't worry if a fair few of your Scarabs don't go off first time, because they are rather difficult to get the hang of completely. So, first, in the educational section, what we're going to look at is we're going to look at my game, and I'm going to hotkey you over to that right now. I believe, yeah, there we go. You should be seeing me creepily placed over where the adjudicator should be at this moment in time. And I'm going to press play because that's cool. So, you see Elegant AOV, which is of course me on the left-hand side, and UB Spyware up here roundabout. Now I have a horrible confession to make. I was playing so badly the other day that I decided to reset my account. So this game is played at the lowly level of C-, but I think it's a game which demonstrates a couple of good concepts, even if it's not that high, well, I say not that high quality, even if it's cringingly bad quality. But also it's something you can probably relate to a little bit more, not being a Gosu yourself, I would imagine. Of course, I'd be incredibly flattered if there were remarkably good players watching this saying, oh yeah, that's interesting, I really get what he's saying, but I very much doubt it. Okay, so let's have a quick look at the map. This map is Tornado. It is currently Map of the Week on IC Cup, which is why I'm playing it. And I looked at this map when I realised I was going to be playing a PvP, as of course I was going to end up doing, and I had a look at what the various aspects of it were. I'm going to pause up the game quickly so we don't miss anything good. I noticed that we have this relatively open choke point that leads onto the natural expansion. We have this high ground here, which makes for some good pushing down here, and means you can lever his army into uncomfortable positions. However, there is an interesting point here from which you can flank, and so that makes it possibly better to split your army here and come from both angles so you don't get taken by surprise by any dodgy numbers of Dragoons. So on this map I opted for a pretty aggressive strategy. I was intending to go for a 3-gate Reaver build, basically to prevent him from expanding too early, and possibly try and kill him and do some good harass if the opportunity presented itself. So what I've done here is I've decided that I'm going to build Dragoon, Range, Dragoon, which by my thinking, would give me a bit of an early military lead, because I should have 3 dragoons out when he has 2. Although he's made a lot of zealots, so I will have 3 goons to his 1, but he will have rather a lot of zealots, so he should be able to hold his ramp at an early stage. Me complaining there, I got alt-tabbed by something, my scouting probe died. It's not just a cheap excuse, I swear. He's throwing up some extra gateways. Now let's compare the 2 strategies right here. He has gone for a very, very zealot heavy opening, whereas I have gone for a no zealot opening and have gone straight for dragoons. Now in a heavy zealot opening, like as what he has done here, I would strongly, very, very strongly recommend that you try and go and do some harass at my base, because he could really have pushed me back across the map a little bit here, whereas already he has sacrificed a lot in terms of his map control, and he's going to find it a bit difficult to get that back, because of course I can stand outside his ramp with dragoons and just basically micro down these zealots in the expected way by just kiting them back and taking hits as I can. But no 2 major discrepancies in our build as of yet. He is of course going for an early 3rd gate, leaving him very open to Dark Templar, but of course I did not know that, and I am not a generally cheesy fellow, so I am going for a good old Reaver build, so I won't be able to capitalise on that too easily. There goes my robo. Slightly later than the standard timing, because I've gone for 2 gates before it rather than 1. And you see, now here we see the problem with his not pushing out onto the map. He's taking a lot of hits, because I'm able to use my superior range to push him back into his base. Ooh, a little bit of miss micro there. Just trying to pick off a couple of zealots to weaken his force, should he choose to move out. A couple of extremely damaged zealots of his there. If I am smart at all, I will be able to pick these off, and I shouldn't lose any dragoons here. I should be moving back right now, taking that zealot to the back, just that dragoon rather, just so it doesn't get mashed up by enemy fire. We can see, ooh, my pylon placing slipping there, so I got supply block very briefly, and was only able to produce 1 dragoon in this round of macro. But it's no big deal. I take out his scout. He has of course got a full scout team on my base, so he has seen everything that's going on. Right, again let's compare positions. He has 4 dragoons out and 2 zealots. I have 4, 5, 6 dragoons out, and I should be having reaver tech on the way any minute now. So things are still looking pretty even. He's going to have plenty of army, I'm going to have plenty of army, and it's really going to come down to who can micro it out more effectively and whose decision making is stronger. Dragoons are just getting a bit confused there. Oh, a little bit of steam pop up on the bottom of my screen. I do apologise. Not really anything I can do about it, but I apologise nonetheless. So, me looking to poke into his base once again and deciding to pull back very wisely. Oh, we should be picking that off, but he was clearly not paying full attention. And see, the thing about this is it highlights another point in StarCraft Brood War. I decided to try and hold this point because there is a high ground advantage. If his dragoons are shooting up at the high ground, they will have a very high miss rate, whereas mine will have a very low miss rate because they'll be shooting downwards. However, I foolishly moved way too far back, and he was able to just push straight up this ramp and engage me on the level ground, where he does of course have the superior unit count. So I'm forced further back, taking a few extra hits, but I'm not in any real trouble yet, putting just 2 probes on that ramp to make sure I hold him off a little better. And finally, I don't know quite why I made observers that fast, but finally we see a Reaver on the way out, and finally we can get to the crux of this particular video guide bit.